Hello, I'm Dork.
And I'm Dubay.
And this is Dork and
Dubay
Dubay Debate the Movies. Today is going to be our first video blog. We're going to talk about The Dark Knight Rises.
We want to say a big thanks out to all our fans, people that have checked out our website, and a lot of good things to come. This is our first video blog, and we're going to see some exciting things here in the future.
So Dubay, our Dark Knight Batman expert, what should we expect tonight from The Dark Knight Rises?
Well, Carl, this is something that 4 years in the making. We've talked about it extensively. Very excited. Carl and I are going out to the Henry Ford IMAX Dearborn tonight, midnight, 12:01. And again, we're looking at a film that's going to cap off a trilogy by Christopher Nolan. Very dark, very mysterious comic book tale, and that's why it's so unique. Christopher Nolan is not afraid to step out of the boundaries of typical comic book movies, and we're looking at the end of Bruce Wayne's story, the end of Batman, and I'm excited to see what happens. I think it's going to be a very dark film. There's going to be a lot of intriguing characters involved, and from what we've seen in the trailers, it looks like it's action-packed. 72 minutes filmed on IMAX cameras, lots of things going on, and it's my most anticipated movie of 2012. A lot of people know that, people are aware of that, but I think what we're going to find out is, some closure. A lot of times we have to look back to the last film, and Batman does something that really we've never seen a superhero do before. He takes the fall for somebody else's crimes, Two-Face, and that just was a wild card, and nobody really expected that. So he's kind of in hiding right now, and we'll see what happens as we start this film. But again, I very high expectations.
Yes, I agree. It's one of my most anticipated movies of 2012 as well. We already had another big superhero movie this year, The Avengers. Contrasting the two, you could say that Dark Knight Rises is obviously dark, like you said, where the Avengers could be seen very light. Even in the Marvel universe, it's like everything's bright and colorful. So major differences. What other differences could you say between there are going to be between The Dark Knight Rises tonight and The Avengers?
Well, I think actually with Dark Knight Rises we're going to have something that we can actually relate to. Yeah, yes, people are dressed up in costumes and such, but the way that the trailers seem to portray it, there's a lot of stuff going on that socially we could say, hey man, that's something that's happened before in our society. It's something that could happen in our society. The Avengers, it was what it was. It's gonna be that popcorn flick that's gonna appeal to everybody. Whereas The Dark Knight Rises, you're gonna have some people that might not be too keen with it because of how dark it is. And it's a cerebral movie. You have to use your mind a lot. And I think going forward tonight and then beyond this weekend, we're going to see that I think a lot of people are going to be satisfied with it. I think people are going to be more intrigued with it because with the Avengers it's kind of predictable. We start with the Avengers, we understand what's going to happen with the superheroes because it's a franchise that's going to keep building, going and going and going. So with that movie there was really no threat. We didn't know what was going to happen. With this movie there's a lot of unknowns. We don't know what's going to happen to some of the central characters like Bruce Wayne or Alfred or Commissioner Gordon. That's what's so intriguing about this. This is all going to end, and we want to know what's the outcome of these characters that we come to love. Right. So
sure,
we'll see.
All right. Well, we had some critics talk about critical response. Some critics are panning the film. We even had a fanboy outlash on this. Rotten Tomatoes had to be shut down on Monday because of death threats towards people who wrote negative reviews for The Dark Knight Rises. Some aren't very credible, we can just throw out Bane not being sexy enough for a movie, but some of the critics are saying that, just like some of Nolan's other films, like Inception and such, that Nolan's films are a little bit too cerebral. For a superhero movie, there's too much thinking and not enough doing. What are your thoughts on that?
I think that the Batman fan who's experienced the first two movies, don't forget Batman Begins. A lot of people forget Batman Begins. I think he's going to tie that in along with The Dark Knight. They're all going to come in and combine into this final movie. So you have to have some background information. That's going to be the first point. And then with what's going to be happening currently in the film with all the characters coming about, new characters here and there, I think in 2 hours and 45 minutes there's going to be a lot going on. And for me, that's okay. I'm okay with lots of plot lines going on, as long as they all come together, are cohesive, and then they have a start and an end. Then that should be something to look forward to. Really, the critics, they've nitpicked, but it's almost like they're trying to, they're grasping for straws. They're trying to find something that's wrong with the film. Glowing reviews otherwise. Some really outstanding 5 out of 5s, 10 out of 10s. very high Metacritic score, 80 points right now, which is unheard of for Metacritic and for like superhero movies. Avengers topped out at 69 with an 80 score right now, and it could have a chance to get higher by the end of tomorrow. I think ultimately the Bat fan, the casual fan, people that have been following the series are going to be satisfied. And from what I've seen, this is something we could talk about in a little bit, but I've been following every detail, and that's maybe something I should have ignored. Maybe I should have gone in a little bit blind into the situation, but with every detail and all the research I poured into it, I've already told myself I'm going to be satisfied with it, and there's nothing that can change that. So,
speaking of hype, we had Spider-Man 3 a few years ago. You also did this for Spider-Man 3.
I did.
So you don't think this is going to be a three-peat?
Spider-Man 3 and Transformers 2, just the downfall of all of my hype. So,
so this is not going to be another Spider-Man 3? Right?
No, I think we'll be fine. Right. I think we'll be fine.
One last thing we want to talk about is box office numbers. Batman Dark Knight Rises, not in 3D. It's not going to be held by the 3D surcharges as the Avengers was. They both had IMAX, so that'll be square. But do you think that the Dark Knight Rises could pass the Avengers in their opening weekend, which was $208 million, I believe? For $8 million, right?
207.
207. Okay.
207. I think it can. I really do. The projections, Box Office Guru, Box Office Mojo have it at between 195 and 228. And from what I've seen, AMC movie theater, 24-hour showings. IMAX, we're going to the IMAX show, and they are actually having a show at 3:45 a.m. 3:45 a.m. is just something that you scratch your head over. Are you kidding me? They're adding all these shows, and I feel bad for the movie employees this weekend. But it's gonna be close, and it's a testament to Nolan's filmmaking and the Batman story that we've all come to love, because it's IMAX. There's no 3D. It's filmed in a regular format that we want to have, where we want to see our characters, and minimal CGI. That's a big thing too with Nolan's films, is he wants to try to make it as realistic as possible. So a lot of the scenes in the first two films, and then with this one, minimal CGI. So I commend him for that, and I think that's a good chance. It's going to be a really exciting box office race, but the pre-sale numbers are through the roof. Unbelievable records have been set, past Avatar, past Harry Potter Part 2, 7 Part 2. So it'll be interesting. We'll see what happens.
Like our show, it sold out in like 25-30 minutes.
It did, and we were panicked because we weren't sure what was going on. But Henry Ford IMAX is just almost booked for the entire weekend, and I think people are really going to enjoy it.
All right, so that was our first video blog. Thank you, Dubé, for all of your Dark Knight expertise and everything. So be sure to check out our website. It is, of course, at dorkandubay.wordpress.com.
And continue following our blog. We're going to have some nice top 10s, some DVD reviews, can stick with our trivia, and with our polls of the week. So again, a big thank you to all those that are out there that have been following us, and it's been a good start. And this video blog, hopefully, will get some more attraction. But thank you at home.
Thank you.
All right, take care, folks. Have a good weekend.
Yep. Enjoy The Dark Knight Rises.
Thanks for coming out, Rob.